Welcome back to the Cobra Corner. Another episode here. My name is Will Hable. I'm joined today by Dave and Mac. We'll bring you all the highlights, standout performances, and exciting updates from Cobra this past week. I know we got a lot of them. We'll recap big moments from field hockey, soccer, and much more. Later in the episode, we'll have field hockey head coach Joan join us, share some insights on the team's recent victories and what's next for the team in the coming months. Get ready for your all-access pass to Cobra Athletics.
All right, so first up, we've got some quick headlines for you. Coker Baseball retired Sean Cowley's jersey on Saturday before the baseball alumni game, so congrats to that. And kicked off a pretty good alumni weekend here at Coker. Steven Spicko and Corey Gallivan named players to watch for the Conference Carolinas wrestling was just announced this past week, and their season will kick off here shortly. And then Frederick Benedicts was named Offensive Player of the Week in the South Atlantic Conference last week. Long overdue. Long overdue. And that was Coker's second Player of the Week this year. And
might have one on the defensive side this week. Hopefully.
Let's hope. Hopefully. Let's hope. But yeah, now going into our weekly recap. Field hockey traveled up to Raleigh, North Carolina to take on the Avenging Angels of Meredith College this past week. Kaya Sabor has been the story all week this week. Became the first player since 2021 to record 7 points in a match with 3 goals and 1 assist as Coker cruised to their first win of the season 5-0 over the Avenging Angels. The Cobras ripped a school record 53 shots, 33 of which were on goal in a dominating performance on Tuesday night. And Florina Tillemans added 2 goals to the stat sheet as well. So a great showing from them for their first win of the season. And they also got their first sack win of the year against the Bearcats of Lander. Camille Berger received a perfect ball from Kaya Sabor late in the third quarter and put it into the back of the net to give Coker a 2-1 win over Lander. The Cobras were outshot 20-3 in the second half, but a great showing by Emma Reininga, just phenomenal in goal, turning away multiple legal opportunities to help Coker earn their first conference win of the year. So great job by her and a continued great job by Kaya. I mean, 2 assists in that one, along with the 3 goals and the assist in the Meredith game.
What a week!
Yeah,
from Kaya.
And she had another goal in the Converse game as well. So ended the week with 4 goals and 3 assists. So if she doesn't win SAC Offensive Player of the Week this week, then I don't know if anybody's ever been more deserving of something like that.
Enough.
So,
and then number 8 men's soccer got a 1-0 win over Tusculum on an alumni weekend. A couple of close calls for both teams, making this one an interesting first half with the halftime score of 0-0. The most play of the game almost came from in the 31st minute from keeper Charlie Walker, who saved a penalty shot on a dive to keep this one even at 0-0. Walker got the clean sheet for the rest of the game and recorded 2 saves as well.
Yeah, the stat sheet doesn't show how important Walker was to that game, which when I submitted the Player of the Week nomination, I made it very clear in the description that he might have only had 2 saves, but one of those saves was literally what got them the 3 points. The difference between 3 points and 1 point in league standings, which is huge because we're neck and neck with Limestone at the top of the league right now. So, but yeah, great showing by him in there, and then onto the second half.
Yeah, the second half things were just as tight knit. I mean, I was at the game myself, and you people were thinking like this might end up in a tie game, but Jesper Shearholz had something to say about that. An 83rd minute. Had a beautiful strike on the ball, find the top left corner. Put the Cobras up 1, and that's the only one they needed to come out with 3 points in this one. Cobras grinded out a gritty win that moves to 12-1-0 on the season to extend their win streak to 10. So shout out to men's soccer.
They scared everybody on that one.
Yes. Tensions were high. And when that ball crossed the goal line, everybody lost.
Erupted for sure. Yeah, it was. And I'm sure that some of you that follow along with us on social media, we had 2 development squad guys on our call.
They will be back. They will be invited back.
Yes, and they just went crazy. You can see if you haven't seen the clip, visit Cobra Men's Soccer Instagram at Cobra Men's Soccer, and they posted the video on there of the goal. It was a great goal, and then they went nuts. So it was just a great environment. I mean, there were so many people there because it was alumni weekend, and
it's always good to have
10 wins. The school record's 12. It can be done. It's gonna be hard.
They got a tough matchup this weekend.
Two tough matchups in a row with ending the season with Mars Hill, who I believe is third in the standings.
Yep.
And then Wingate, who early on in the season was a top 10 team in the country. Now they've lost some key ones down the stretch and are no longer in that national standing, but they're still a quality side and have that top 10 potential. So both of these remaining games for them are going to be ones to watch. And if they can get the 12, and I mean, they've got the SAC tournament coming up. We're guaranteed now to host a first round matchup in the SAC tournament. And so men's soccer's not done. And they've
not at all.
Yeah, and they've got some stuff cooking up in the works, so we're really excited to see them for the rest of the season.
And then women's side too. I mean, they got the job done too. A 4-2 win over Tusculum this past weekend, and I'm sure you guys have seen, but Maya Clark has been on a heater, to say the least.
Freshman of the year candidate in the SAC, and she showed it in this game.
Yeah, 3 goals, a hat trick for Clark. Single-handedly won this game for Coker.
Yeah, you take
if we don't have that
you
last
take away
goal,
take away her goals, and it's a 2-1 game. So
she 3 goals,
on 3 shots.
On 3 shots.
Yeah,
one of them being a penalty shot, which she's. I don't think she's missed one all year from the penalty, but that clinched women's soccer a SAC playoff bid. So congratulations to women's soccer, and then to just put the game away, Mila Roush netted a ball in the 83rd minute to seal the win. Reichel, Borgman, and Gross all finished with 1 assist each. Helena Siedelmeyer finished the game with 4 saves. Yeah, so
great game.
Sit at 5th in the conference standings. So
they both of those games, both the men's and women's games, a little bit of a scare in both of them.
Yes, but they ended up pulling it out.
Yes, the men's game especially. Yes. That one was, tied at 0-0, 31st minute, and the PK, they could have taken the one lead, and then up until the 83rd minute, it was 0-0, and so it wasn't like Coker scored a goal early and then it just held the lead the rest of the game. No, it was late in the game that they had that winner. So, and then in the women's game, we were actually down 2-1.
Yes, this is correct.
So, and then we scored 3 unanswered goals. So we eventually kicked it in, but both of these games had fans on the edge of their seats. So if you haven't gotten to a Coker soccer game, men or women, this year, go to a game. Just go to a game. We have Wingate at home to end off the season. It's our last regular season
Wednesday. Yeah, it's a Wednesday. Then the women play first, and then the men play with the nightcap.
It'll probably be a 4:30 and 7 game.
That'll be a big game for both teams.
Yes,
for
100%
seeding and just ending the regular season on the right note, because both of these teams will be in the South Atlantic Conference tournament.
Yep. And,
so getting that win at the end of the year to keep the
men have already clinched a bid to host.
Yes.
And the women have clinched their spot, but they sit 5th, which means that they take 8, so they would play at the 4 seed site. They have the opportunity to get up to the 4 seed. So if they do, then we'll host both a men's and women's game here in Hartsville. But it's hopefully, we would love to see that happen, but there's some things that need to happen for that to be the case. But we're definitely hosting a men's game here.
We're dancing either way, both sides.
Yeah, and so make sure to come out and watch some soccer. And if it's not here, then if you're in the area where it's being hosted, go out and watch it. And if not, Flow Sports, we've got some great games on Flow Sports for you guys here or there. Watch some soccer. They've been really good all year long. So
it's been good to watch. It's been a huge turn from last year. Both teams have picked it up. And they've been on such good runs, and it's great to see the soccer programs here at Coker really take off these past 2 years.
Because I would like to point out that preseason poll had our women's team finishing 11th.
That's
11th in the conference.
That's gotta feel
and
good.
And just beating every single team that they were not every single team, but beating a lot of teams that were projected to finish in front of them is huge. And then
they didn't know who Maya Clark was.
No, Kira Bolka, and unfortunately we don't have Kira Bolka for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, yeah, but they sure didn't know who Maya Clark was.
Everybody knows who she is now.
Yeah, it's a coming out party for her, and she's been huge. She should get some all conference nominations. If she doesn't, then it's a crime. But and the men's side, even the men, they were projected, or not projected, but the conference picked them to finish 5th.
Wow.
In the conference. And now we're 3 spots behind that in the national rankings. so just that's a little bit of perspective.
And then the regionals come out next week.
Yes, and
so keep an eye out for that too.
Either 1 or 2 in the regional. So could be juggling that with Limestone, and then Limestone is the only team above us, and there are only 3 points above us in the standings on the men's side.
The only team above us in the conference is number 4th team in the nation. So if that tells you,
we're and I think that all the guys are hoping for a Limestone rematch.
They want
in the South Atlantic Conference final.
The guys want it. Michael wants it. We had him on last week.
You and I both. We're gonna be up at that game. We're gonna get up for it. Everybody's gonna go crazy. Or you get some media passes, take some pictures, and be rooting on the team. And so let's obviously first they have to
pass any game.
They have to win their first round matchup. And right now I think they're projected to play LR, which was a pretty chippy game here in Hartsville. And that's not a team that should be taken lightly. And then you have to win a semifinal matchup too, which is also in the SAC. No matchup is going to be cake. So
we will have. Well, for that, I know for at least the first round game, we will play here, so that will be a huge advantage.
The first round here, and then the semifinal and the final
in Matthews.
In Matthews at the sports complex there. That's where the all 4 teams in the semifinal and the final will be playing at. So let's hope we can get there.
It's not far here from Hartsville. It's about an hour and a half drive, but
make the drive.
It is not. It's a top-notch facility. So don't think it's.
Yeah, make the drive. Go watch the soccer.
It's worth it. I went there my freshman year for it when they ended up winning the conference tournament, and it's a fun time. So get out there, support it. I know the guys will really appreciate that. But
yeah. All right, our guest this week on the podcast is none other than the head coach for our field hockey team, Coach Joan Johnson. It's great to have you on the podcast this week.
Thanks for having me. It's a good week to have me.
Yes, that is absolutely that's what we talked about. They said if there's any week to have you guys on the podcast, it is for sure this week. So I guess just quickly just introduce where you're from, how you kind of got into the position that you're in, and
Dr. Griffin has been relentless trying to get me to take this job since 2018 when I was the first coach offered the job. My 2 younger children didn't want to move, so I didn't move. She called me again in 2021 when the current coach was leaving to move to Wingate. Again, I was already doing an interim head coaching job, and I couldn't leave. And then turned out this time around, she says, "Are you ready now?" And I said, "I'm ready now." So here I am. And she says, "I knew one day you'd be here." So I give all the credit to Dr. Griffin for being relentless and in pursuing having me come here. So, and I come from Maryland, and I I'm enjoying the heck out of this right now.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather today too. So.
Oh yeah,
It's always beautiful weather here in Hartsville.
Yeah, a lot warmer than I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, and it seems like that's a common theme. That's what happened with David Coker, the head golf coach. Apparently, they've been trying to get him for the last couple cycles of coaches.
Okay.
And
He finally gave in.
yeah, and he finally was like, okay, yeah,
Okay,
I
I'll
guess,
do it.
yeah. So that's great. But I guess let's address the best thing about the week.
We
two
have
big wins.
We have 6 games in 10 days to finish out the season because of the hurricane pushing a bunch of games back. So 6 games in 10 days with 1 field sub is pretty daunting. And so I think yesterday we wound up feeling it at the 4th quarter because otherwise we were neck and neck with Converse again.
Yeah.
But getting the win at Meredith, having a school record of 53 shots on goal was pretty fun. And then the win against Lander on Thursday was the first time in school history to have beaten Lander.
Yeah.
So the girls were pretty excited, and I hope that we bring that same tempo back tomorrow night against Wingate, then Wednesday against LMU, and Saturday against Belmont Abbey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy. My question for you is, I guess we've had a couple conversations. You felt like you guys were kind of heading in the right direction. You could feel like you're getting ready to turn the corner. So kind of talk on how rewarding it is, I guess, to actually see it happen in game, and you see it actually turn the corner, and you get 2 wins that can kind of spark you guys the rest of the way.
So I changed our formation for last Tuesday, and the girls were very hesitant about it. And then we won the game. And then they're like, well, I'm not really sure that's going to work against Lander. I said, well, there's two ways this can go. You want to revert to the old way, or you're going to give it a try. And they're like, okay, if you think we can. I said, I know you can. You just did. And when we finished and we had a celebratory dinner after the game, they're like, go, here's to the formation, coach, So we definitely had a front-loaded hard schedule. And then when injuries took us down, thank goodness the lacrosse team jumped in and helped us with a few players. And one of our goalkeepers, Zahira from Argentina, said, Coach, I've played the field before. I put her on the field. She started and played 2 full games on the field. And it was very helpful. So lacrosse team and Zahira get a big A+ for that. But we were very front heavy on our schedule, which I knew would help us now, this end of the season, in trying to stay positive and move forward.
Yeah, it seems to be a common trend with the South Atlantic Conference being one of the hardest Division II conferences.
In every sport. Yeah, so it's got to be tough to compete in that kind of area every single week. But I will say that it probably helps recruiting wise. Like, you can tell them, hey, you're going to come here and you're going to compete against some of the best teams in the country.
Not only that, but the NCAA finally opened up an AQ for the SAC winner for field hockey. Okay. There's only 36 institutions that have Division II field hockey. The Northeast 10, the PSAC, and now the South Atlantic Conference. This is the first year they've expanded to 8 teams going to the NCAA tournament, and one of the AQs is for the SAC, which gives you a lot to have a recruit to tell them. We have the potential to go to the NCAA tournament by winning our conference. And I hopefully, we're slowly but surely getting there with 4 commits so far, and several offers out. We are hoping to keep increasing the roster.
Yeah, and I think that has been something that you've been pretty adamant about. That's been the biggest factor this year so far, has just been the depth, because the girls that you have on your team are capable, and we've seen that especially recently. But it's just, you're playing a team close, and then all of a sudden the gas kind of gets to you,
or the heat, or playing in a game that's 90 degrees on the turf and with 1 field sub, and then you're playing against a team that has a roster of 30, gets pretty overwhelming. So I'm proud of the team for being able to hang, and they don't complain. They just do it, and they keep playing, and they know the reason why things are happening, and they vow to do better, and they find the positive in everything that we do, which is really my motto. You have to find the positive in what's out there.
One of the things I think I've kind of been impressed with, kind of speaks volumes, like you said, what you're building is, doesn't matter the score, the outcome so far this year, you guys still playing loose, having fun with it. I mean, Thursday against Lander, you're in
think it was a tie game at the half, and I look over and you guys are having a dance battle at halftime. So it's like, you guys are having fun with it, and it keeps everybody loose, and it feels like, you guys are building that program back up in the right direction, which is a good thing to see.
We really hope that more of the recruits that are coming down to visit, can see and feel what we're feeling. Not to mention the weather's beautiful now versus it was 2 or 3 weeks ago when it was so hot. But I make sure that the team understands that it definitely has to be a team culture, that the recruits come in and can see that you like each other, not just on the field, but you're kind to one another, that you treat each other with respect, and that you can let them see that we're an atmosphere that welcomes people from, our team has to come mostly from up north. There's no field hockey in South Carolina in the high schools, pretty much. Very few in North Carolina. So we come from a lot of different states, but they're a good, humble bunch, and they stay positive and move forward. And as long as I feed them, they're good.
That's most college students, it seems like.
Piggybacking off that a little bit about the recruiting aspect. So what would be your pitch to someone thinking about coming to Coker and playing field hockey?
Right now, the pitch is that my roster is small, and your playtime chances are much larger here than a team with a roster of 30, and that we do have the automatic qualifier for the conference champion now, and that this school is, I call it my little Hallmark town with no snow. And I believe that it's very family-oriented, community-oriented, and I think that that's something that brings way different feel than some of the PSAC schools, Northeast 10, living near Boston, living, further up north. Even my own daughter went to a Northeast 10 school and played, but, it's really family-oriented, and your ability to play and be on a roster that's of a size that is currently much more manageable. It would be wonderful to be able to practice full field and scrimmage full field at practice. We're really good against ourselves.
Yeah. that makes sense. Yeah. So I guess revisiting this last week, how big has Kaya been for you guys this week? I mean, she had 4 goals, 3 of them in the game against Meredith, and then the lone goal against Converse, and then assisted both goals against Lander, and also had an assist in the Meredith game. So helped out on 4 of the 5 goals at Meredith and assisted on both of them at Lander. So how big has she been?
So Kaya is, I've coached Kaya since she was about 8 years old, if I'm going to really be honest. So we have a really good relationship like that. Kaya wasn't coming back until there was a coaching change, and she found out I was coming back, and she texted me, "Can I come back?" I'm like, "Of course." And she just has a desire to score, and she knows she can, and it's very rewarding for her, but it's more rewarding for her for the team to feel it, and she loves the team to feel what it's like, and she's trying to get them to know what it feels like as well. It's tough to be recognized for doing good things when you continue to lose games and lose them by a lot of goals. So to take the positive out of the week for Kaya, I'm very proud of her. It is. I've had many coaches comment after playing her, especially over the past 2 weeks, especially, wow, she's really good. I said, yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. So we're really proud of her.
Kind of going off what you said about, she's more team-oriented. I think the second assist she had that ended up helping you guys beat Lander was kind of speaks volumes. That is, she could have easily, I think, probably gone past her defender, took in a one-on-one and shot it and tried to get the goal. But she actually passed it up. That ended up leading to that game-winning goal. So that definitely speaks volumes to her as a player and as a teammate. She wants to see her teammates succeed just as bad as she wants to. So
she tells the team when we're pregame in a huddle or whatever, if you don't have the shot, get a corner, find a foot. And that has to be your goal when playing this game. If you can't get a good shot, then you should be working to get a penalty corner so that you can at least have the opportunity to have a shot instead of there being a foul or you losing the ball because you didn't get a good shot.
Yeah. So with your team being you have a lot of younger players. So how do you think it is for them to come into the hard schedule that you guys have this year and them getting all that experience in? Is there like a feel of like no pressure, like pressure's off for them in the situation?
I do think there's a pressure because we've had the conversation, we have nothing to lose in everything we do, just with the new formation and things that we're working on. You have nothing to lose. So you might as well try everything we throw out there. Why not take the shots? I had my defensive players in the Meredith game, because we changed our formation. I believe Amba Brown had 9 shots on goal. I mean, Amba plays a defensive position, but when I made the adjustments and had them do more defensive, meaning more attacking in their role, she had 9 shots. Sydney Cole, I think, had 6 shots in the game. And it's not because Meredith wasn't good. Meredith had some beautiful stick skills. She had some great players, and they made great passes, but our girls they took the momentum of the scoring and feeling good about what was happening and trying new things, and they went with it. So they're very, very much agreeable to trying new things, to being relaxed and knowing that they have nothing to lose at this juncture.
Well, I think that's all we've got for you this week. So, again, congrats on the 2 wins this week, and we appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.
And good luck the rest of the way
Yep,
with this.
3 to go.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch you got coming up. I'm sure you guys are ready for.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now on to look at it the next week a little bit. Women's golf, we're filming this on Monday the 28th, so they're playing today and they play tomorrow at the Converse Invitational. Women's soccer plays tomorrow at 2 o'clock at Allen in a non-conference matchup, and then we'll play Friday at 5 at Mars Hill. And then field hockey finishes off with a pretty busy slate. We heard about it with Coach Johnson that plays 6 games in 10 days, and this is the last of those 6 games. Tuesday at 6, which is tomorrow, they play at Wingate. Wednesday, they will play here at 6 p.m. against LMU. And then Saturday, they'll again hit the road. They'll play at Belmont Abbey at noon. So pretty busy for field hockey to finish off. So catch some of those games. They did really well last week, and they're hoping to continue that into this week.
Yeah, and then we're going to jump inside with volleyball. Play at 7 p.m. on Tuesday against Georgia College and State University here in Hartsville. Yeah, now we're going to jump inside with volleyball. They play Tuesday at 7 p.m. against Georgia College and State University here in Hartsville. And then they're going to turn right around and play Saturday for Senior Day against Mars Hill at 2 p.m. So get out to those, support the seniors. It's always good to honor them. And
yeah, make sure you're there around 15 minutes before the game. We're still hammering out as to exactly when we'll start the Senior Day festivity thing, the walk across. But make sure you're there Make sure you're there at least probably 20 minutes early just to catch all that. But yeah, to honor those seniors and to hopefully get a win.
Yep, and then men's soccer is going to take on Mars Hill at 7:30 at Mars Hill on Friday. So that's all we got for this week. That's going to wrap everything up. Unforgettable wins in soccer this week. Field hockey, special moment for Cobra baseball. It's been one busy week in Hartsville with alumni weekend. All that fun stuff. Thank you for the alumni. If you did come back for visiting campus, big thanks to field hockey head coach Joan Johnson for joining us on the show today. And to all of our fans tuning in, don't miss our upcoming games as we'll head to the final stretch of the season for all these Cobra teams. Keep cheering on the Cobras, and we'll see you next time here on the Cobra Corner. As always, go Cobras.
Go Cobras.